Work to do for Plymouth Argyle today. Back-to-back defeats have just dampened the mood slightly as we head into autumn, but we are back at Home Park, and Home Park is where Argyle like to be, and they will be supercharged to get back to winning today.
Welcome to a loud Deepdale Stadium, where Plymouth Argyle and Preston North End meets for the first time in 13 years. Taking an early lead out of nowhere. Now Miller on the left-hand side. Argyle with defending to do. Miller is through. Miller scores! Hundle in space on the right-hand side. Here's Ryan Hardy inside the area. Hardy scores! Deficit. They've seen off a spirited Argyle performance, which was again full of promise. It's a much changed Argyle side, 7 in total from Saturday's defeat against an unchanged Bristol City side, who got a 0-0 draw here against West Brom. Delivery then in towards the near post, flick towards goal and in. City come again, Sykes flashes it across goal, has it got something to it? It's going to be tapped in for 2. Oh, what an absolutely disastrous start this is for Plymouth Argyle. It'll break to Randall. Oh, what a goal! Space on the right if the pass is good, and it is. And Sykes has the freedom of the penalty area. This should be 3. That is 3. Brilliant little slide ball into Cornick. 4.
Hello and good afternoon. We are back at Home Park, where Argyle will be desperate to turn their fortunes around at a place where they very rarely get it wrong. Just the 1 league defeat here in their last 5 and 8 wins in their last 10 matches here. It's a very happy home. This is Argyle TV's pre-match show. I am Erin Black, and Norwich City are the visitors for us today. You have to go back to September 2008 for the last time the Canaries made the trip to Devon. Some stats for you here. Paul Sturrock was in his second spell as manager here. Ricky Gervais's Ghost Town was out in cinemas. Katy Perry was #1 in the UK charts, and Mark Edworthy was out of contract and probably about to sign for Leicester City. That's how long ago it was, Mark?
That's a long time ago, Erin. It's a nice introduction as well. I'm glad you reminded me about that. But as I said, it's back to Home Park. We know we're so good here. We've got 2 victories already this season against Huddersfield, which was a fantastic result. And hopefully we can continue that as well. And against Blackburn, 3-0 against Blackburn, a clean sheet. But unfortunately on the road it's been a little bit difficult. The midweek game against Bristol City, I think we just seen some highlights there. And it was a difficult watch defensively. But on top of that, we did create chances again.
And another one of your former sides in Norwich today as well, isn't it?
It is. It's one of those where a number of teams do come up, former teams. And I had fond memories at Carroll Road. Wonderful time. We were champions, actually. We won this league. Yeah. Good club, good setup. Very similar to what's happening here at Argyle at Home Park. Good people. Delia Smith was there, lovely lady. She gave me a signed book, which was very nice. Nice. Still using her recipes, of course.
Very good.
But yeah, wonderful times. As to become champions was a great time for me in my career.
And how big a game is this for Argyle then, coming up against Norwich today?
Well, I think it's potentially another scalp, isn't it? Because former Premier League opposition as well. They have won this league. They've won it a couple of times and come back down. I always found it difficult when they've gone into the Premier League. They've had a difficult game midweek against Leicester and got beat, so they're going to be on the rebound. Argyle also on the rebound as well after losing heavily against Bristol City. So it's set up to be a wonderful game, and we've got to be positive today. and I think we will be. We need to be. We don't really want to go 3 games defeated in 3 games on the bounce. So fingers crossed today we can turn that around, and I'm sure Stephen Schumacher can do that.
Yeah, and in terms of opposition for Argyle, do you think Norwich are a good side to be coming up against this weekend off the run that Argyle have had? I'm sure it will be quite an exciting match.
Oh, it's going to be a great game. 2 very open sides, like to create chances, and we know how good we are here at Home Park. Well, I think it's the case now. We've got to take our chances and don't concede. If you concede early, it's very, very tough, and it's an uphill battle. We've seen that against Bristol City. Conceded very early, and it's very difficult to get back into the game. But we've had a day's rest psychologically, if that makes any difference. They've had a long journey down as well. I've done that on many occasions. But look, they're professional, they're well prepared. David Wagner will get them ready. And it's set up to be another wonderful game.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed it goes Argyle's way this afternoon, as we've all been hoping. And there is a lot to get through this afternoon as well. We've got a packed show. And, of course, if you aren't here today, there are a couple of options for you in terms of following the game. So if you're a UK-based supporter, you can buy the audio pass and listen to the commentary this afternoon for just £2.50. And if you are based overseas, then you can stream the whole thing for just £10. All of the details are over on the website, pafc.co.uk. Coming up on Argyle TV's pre-match show, though, or before kick-off, we're going to be getting the latest from Argyle manager Stephen Schumacher. We'll hear from Bali Mumba on what it will be like playing for the side that he left in the summer. And we'll also be joined by another former Argyle and Norwich defender, as if Mark Edworthy wasn't enough. Colin Sullivan will be will be with us live just after 2:30 as well. And before all of that, though, let's have a look at the team news for today's game. And we'll start, as always, with Argyle. Now, there's quite a few changes, which we'll see in a minute, Mark. There were some conversations maybe had amongst fans. A lot of changes we saw on Tuesday night, and I think we've kind of now had them rebalanced almost this afternoon.
Yeah, it's amazing how things change, isn't it? You know, we got the right to play in the Championship. We were League One champions last season. Fantastic, over 100 points. And Stephen Schumacher's got decision making. He's got a great squad to choose from. People said he made too many changes, but 4 of those changes have played regular football. So he makes a decision. That's why he's a top manager. And I think today is maybe a bit more familiar. Obviously, Bali Mumba back in against his former side.
Yeah.
They obviously sold him, thankfully, to Argyle. So he'll have something to prove, I think. So he's back in the side. And it'll be interesting. Look, if you look at that team, it's lots of quality. There's lots of familiar names, and also the bench. So there's almost like 2 teams Stephen Schumacher can choose from, but he wants a reaction, and it's still competition for places, and I'm sure he's going to get one this afternoon.
Yeah, let's run through those names very quickly then while they're still on your screen. Hazard, Plegathuelo, Scar, Gibson, Mumba, Houghton, Edwards, Azaz, Randall, Hardy and Whittaker. They're the ones making Stephen Schumacher's starting 11 today. And on the bench for Argyle, Burton, Gillespie, Kessler-Hayden, Butcher, Miller, Warrington, Cundall, Bundu and Wayne. Now, obviously, you mentioned Bali Mumba there, Mark. Whittaker and Hardy back in. What are we thinking Stephen Schumacher's going for this afternoon?
Well, I think sometimes away from home, perhaps he just thinks you want to get more solid, but as the game turned out, we conceded too early, and then it was an uphill battle. And then Morgan Whittaker comes on and Ryan Hardy, they do change games because they get in behind the defence. And when you're losing, you're chasing the game, so sometimes you'll get more opportunities, and they'll be a bit more proactive. But we know here at Home Park, the fans here want to see some energy and some football played, and I think Ryan Hardy and Morgan Whittaker, especially at home, and they do it away from home, of course, but I think the emphasis is when you're at home to create chances to score goals. They're a real handful, those 2, and if Bali Mumba pushing up as well, we're used to them seeing them 3, Hardy, Whittaker and Bali Mumba playing as a 3, and it worked brilliantly in a couple of the opening games of the season. Yes, we've been away from home and formations change, but I think today he's gone back with a familiar team which most of the fans would like to see, but the guys on the bench equally deserve to be in the starting lineup as well. Yeah,
we've got Adam Randall starting for us today. He was kind of one of the only players to come out with some positives from the Bristol City game, getting that goal. He'll be pleased with that despite the performance that we saw.
Yeah, great finish. And I think that's what it is, Erin. It's competition for places. Everybody wants to play every game. It's a squad situation now. 46 games, including the cup competitions. It's a tough ask for any individual to keep playing consistently. Yeah. So what it is, it keeps players on the edge. Yes, we may think there's too many changes, but he'll pick certain sides. Stephen Schumacher will look at the opposition what fits. Certain players suit the other opposition. And if it works, it's great. We're all happy and it's 3 points. But if it doesn't work, then obviously that's when the manager gets questioned.
Yeah, and defensive-wise, Argyle need to put out a strong team for that today as well, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's like everything. You know, your basis is there. You got a clean sheet gets you a point. If you end up drawing, and obviously, but you got to start that emphasis. You got to be hard to beat. We know we're going to create chances, but we can't keep conceding these goals, especially away from home. I think of all the games this season, Bristol City was the only one where I thought, we weren't quite at it. Apart from that, against Birmingham, I think we were the better side. Southampton, you could say we could have got a draw. Preston, we were unlucky. So you can't keep getting unlucky. You've got to earn the right, and then hopefully that turns into 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of Norwich's team, they played Leicester on Wednesday and lost 2-0. And this is the side that they are bringing to Home Park this afternoon. Mark, a couple of the names in there, which we'll see on the screen for everyone. Let's just run through them. Gunn, Stacey, Gibson, Duffy. These are the ones I don't want to get it wrong. Giannoulis, do we think? Giannoulis, Sarah, McLean, Rowe, Ida, Fastnacht, Wejo, Long, McCallum, Bath, Fisher, Gibbs, Forshaw, Procetta, Hernandez, and Springett. Actually, I think we got through that list
you
relatively
did superbly well, Erin.
I always like a challenge.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, isn't it? They really do.
But we have the
you did that superbly well. And I think right at the top of the list, number 28, obviously former Canary himself, Brian Gunn, his son playing, so he'll be here watching today. But look, they're a good team. They're tipped to get promotion or definitely get into the playoffs. Dave Wagner's took over. I mean, we know him from his time over here against, managing Huddersfield. But now he's got the challenge of trying to get Norwich promotion. It's a tall ask, but the fans up there expect, like the Argyle fans expect, they've got to do something this year. They've been looking to get the right manager in. They're trying to recruit and get the right players in. If you're letting players like Bali Mumba go, for me personally, after last season, I thought he was outstanding, and that's why he went away with all the awards last season.
Yeah, he did.
They've got to have some players.
Yeah, I mean, one that we need to mention, Jonathan Rowe, I've got written here, 4 goals already, so he's certainly going to be one.
He's certainly going to be one to watch, exactly. I mean, they do create chances to score goals, and they're on the back of a defeat against Leicester. They want to come here and put it right. I was listening to David Wagner's pre-match talk, and he knows they're in for a tough game. So we've got to start fast, as always, really put them under pressure and try to get that early goal. That's the perfect start. It might not happen, might have to be patient, but we know we've got to start and prepare properly and be confident. Yeah.
Do you think, when sides are coming into a game both off the back of not necessarily, a losing streak or just a loss in general, do you think it ups the stakes a little bit?
Definitely, I think, because it's a reaction, isn't it? We've had a heavy defeat midweek. They've lost to Leicester midweek at home as well, so that would have hurt them. And they know they've come all the way down here to the southwest. It's a long journey. They know they've got to be up for it because they've done their homework. They know how good a team Argyle are at home. So they've got to be prepared as well, because if they don't, they're going to come unstuck and get beat.
Yeah, where in that team on the pitch, where do you think Norwich are going to be strong? Which elements do Argyle need to pick apart?
Well, you said on Rowe already, he's got 4 goals already this season. It's something that they're going to create chances. Defensively, we've got to be really strong. We've got to start the game well and just don't give the opposition don't give them any confidence, don't give them any opportunities. So we've got to really be off the front foot. As soon as the referee blows that whistle, we've got to really show that you've come to Home Park, you're in for a game. And I think we've done that. To be fair to the players, they've done that ever since, carrying on from last season, because we had that wonderful home record, and we started the campaign brilliant this season for the results. As we said, Blackburn against Huddersfield. The opening game of this season against Huddersfield, for me, was a real tough game. And it was a hard team to play against, and I think we responded really well, and it's a great result.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you've got to do again today. I know it's Norwich, they spent a lot of money, they've been in the Premier League, they're a big scout for Argyle today, but I'm sure we're capable of beating them this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think, as we've said before, being at Home Park, having the kind of Green Army, the 12th man on side, it does make a great difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're really good here, as we know, and we do create chances. And I think what they've tried to do on the road, they try to play similar, and unfortunately sometimes away from home you've got to be a bit more cautious. It's probably the word I'm looking for. Stephen Schumacher's on a learning curve. He hasn't managed in this league before. I think he's doing a wonderful job. It's all new to him, and we've got all the capabilities of doing well this season. But I think he realised against Bristol City, next time away from home, we've got to be a bit more cautious, because Bristol City, it was like an onslaught at times, waves of attack, and the scoreline could have been a lot more. Thankfully it wasn't. We showed character, we did have opportunities, but here I think we've got to carry on that mentality of being really hard to beat and keep that record. Okay, we've had the one defeat against Southampton, but it was in dying embers of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were just about to talk about a fantastic draw, and it was the last kick of the game, and that's how tight this league can be.
Yeah, and looking at the scoreline that Argyle unfortunately conceded earlier on this week is probably bolstered the Norwich spirits, but on the other hand, they have conceded 4 against Southampton, so it's kind of swings and roundabouts a little bit.
Oh, it is. This is why I thought League One was entertaining, but the Championship again, that's why it's probably one of the watched leagues in the country. It's such a great league, and you look down the fixture list and there's no easy game, lots of goals, and I think it's going to be a high scoring game today, I really do, and hopefully it'll be the Argyle who come out on top.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. There's Pilgrim Pete. Not playing today, fortunately. I don't think he'd maybe offer too much of what we need this afternoon. As we mentioned right at the start, Argyle will be desperate to try and arrest the run of defeats that they're currently on. A decent performance against Preston ultimately didn't provide a result, and Tuesday just didn't go to plan at all.
Yeah, of course it is. Everyone they both know each other very, very well. They both came together in 2018 for a very
ball flashed across goal, and Preston, they're taking an early lead out of nowhere. And now Azaz, still plenty of green shirts forward in this attack. Mumba is one of them on the left-hand side, goes beyond his man, looks to try and play it into the middle. Woodman got a big old fist to it, and then it almost drops into the net again. Whittaker, who's not really seen much of it so far, but he does well to get away from Miller. Azaz lets that ball run. He knew Hardy was there. Gets to it before Lindsay. Mumba is in the middle of Hardy. Can find him towards Mumba. It's a great hand from Woodman. He's on the ball now, but he has given it away. Ledson plays it forward towards Ismajic. Now Miller on the left-hand side. Argyle with defending to do. Miller is through. Miller scores! Preston have their second. Crosses a halfway line. He's got Hardy on the left-hand side. He's got Kessler-Hayden on the right. Tries to play it towards Kessler-Hayden. Inside the area. What a save from Woodman. Huge opportunity for Argyle, though. Here come Argyle down the right-hand side. Whittaker then stands up his defender. He's got a man on the overlap. Cuts infield. Whittaker goes for goal. Woodman drops it. Will it fall to Azaz? No. Just held up by Story. Plays it infield to Azaz. Whittaker on the right-hand side. Kessler-Hayden goes beyond him. Can he get the pass to him? Whittaker goes for goal. Mumba, that's brilliant. Finds Azaz. Kundal in space on the right-hand side. Here's Ryan Hardy. Inside the area. Hardy scores!
What a goal!
And Argyle half the deficit. Miller. He'll then look to run at Kessler-Hayden. Boy, this second half is flying by. Miller onto his right foot. Great delivery. Ismajic! What a save that is from Hazard! Oh my goodness me! Plegwithello beats Frockyar to it, but it's picked up by Preston North End again. And now Holmes urged forward. He's got Potts free on the right-hand side. Here is Potts. Drills it across goal. Hits the post. Comes back to him again. The flag is up in there somewhere. This corner is going to be swung in. In fact, it's not. It's going to be taken short. Delivery then in towards the near post, flick towards goal and in. And just like Saturday, Argyle find themselves behind early. James, little backheel from Bell again. This is beautiful. Delivery towards the far post is just behind the men in the middle. Argyle managed to scramble it away. City come again. Sykes flashes it across goal. Has it got something to it? It's going to be tapped in for 2. Oh, what an absolutely disastrous start this is for Plymouth Argyle. Watching on. It is about the response. There is plenty of time, but Bristol City come forward again. Bell inside the area. Oh, it's saved by Hazard. Kessler-Hayden storming past him on the left-hand side. Right, eventually tries to slide it towards him. It'll break to Randall. Oh, what a goal! What a hit, Adam Randall. To Warrington. Oh, he tried a flick in field. It was cut out by Wells, and it's a signal for Bristol City to look to counter. A space on the right if the pass is good, and it is. And Sykes has the freedom of the penalty area. This should be 3. That is 3. Bristol City leading Argyle by 3-1 here on Argyle TV. First meeting between the two sides here since 2010 in the league, and Ben Waine is bearing down on goal. He's got to score. He hasn't. James, nicely done, finds Naismith, drops his shoulder. He's capable from here. Naismith, brilliant little slide ball into Cornick. 4. And picks a comfortable pass into midfield. Robertson is caught on it. Azaz. Hardy wants it through the middle. Can he get a goal here? Ryan Hardy. Yes. Oh, no, he can't.
You know what? It's probably a really good one to bounce back with after a result like this.
Hardy is in again. Clips it round O'Leary. Can he grab a goal now? No, he can't.
Well, up until Tuesday night, Mark, Argyle had been pretty good value in all of their matches. We may not have had the results we wanted, but they certainly put in a good game of football. Tuesday, however, was it an off night or is it a reality check?
I think it was a bit of both. I think it was a learning curve for Stephen Schumacher. We just looked at the highlights there. I think they would have sat in the seminar room and really looked at that individually. I'd imagine it was a productive meeting, even though they've lost, to say, look, we're naive, you can't afford to do that at this level because we're going to get punished.
Yeah.
And they did get punished. You got to analyse that. There's no hiding place error. And when you sat in the room and you're analysing the game, and the manager's probably pausing it and playing it, it's a great learning tool, and you've got to learn from it, and that's the most important thing. If the players do learn from it, then great. Because that was too easy for me against Bristol City. We conceded too many easy opportunities and goals, and it's the manner we lost the game. But when we look at the highlights, it looked like a great game of football.
Yeah.
We did create a number of chances, but I think it's a great opportunity to put it right again today, and that's why it's so great, because games do come thick and fast, and it's a great opportunity against Norwich this afternoon.
Yeah. And a thing you've highlighted, as well as all of the other pundits that we've had on Argyle TV so far this season, is like that Argyle are going to find it tough because it's a step up in quality, and they cannot afford to be making these mistakes, like you mentioned, because they will get punished for it.
Yeah, you will get punished. It's like the Bristol City and the Preston game. If you look here, we're slowing down a bit. For me, I'm a bit old school. You have to stop the cross. That's where the danger is. You've got to get closer. You've got to put a tackle in, make it difficult for the opposition. Another ball coming into the box, it's just too easy at times. So they need to learn quickly, which they will do. And I think that's what it is. It is a learning curve. And long as they learn quickly, which I'm sure they will do, then we'll be fine. I'm convinced we'll be fine, because we've got quality players and we've got a quality manager. And with a full house again today, they don't realise the fans are such an important part of it as well. And they've been wonderful last season, they have this season, and they're going to have a big part to play this season again.
And mentality-wise, how important is it to remember the positive moments from games when you are on a run of defeats?
Of course it is. They would have sat in the seminar room and probably analysed it and looked at. When we were playing, it was a case of, we've had a heavy defeat, and you'd always do like the negative side first, and then you put on the positives, because there were some positives there. There were some good opportunities. Argyle some great opportunities. Good goal from Randall. Hardy hits the post. It's if, buts, and maybe, isn't it? That's a word that happens all the time. If Hardy's goal had gone in, if we'd scored that, if we'd taken that opportunity. So look at the negatives and say, look, we need to learn from this. And obviously there were some real positives. You've lost 4-1, and people say, how is there any positives? There was a lot of positives there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't reflect on that when you've lost 4-1.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't, and it's difficult to take. No one likes getting beaten. It was a heavy defeat for us, but I'm sure we've learned a lot from that midweek game.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see a different Argyle side coming out today with a bit more fire in their belly. And you are watching the pre-match show on Argyle TV at the minute. We are doing all the build-up to Argyle against Norwich, and it will continue after this.
There's nothing like the start to a new season. The energy, the anticipation, the expectation. You know that buzz in the air. You can feel it. It's going to be our year. It's going to be different this time. It needs to be, for all of us. The emotions of the game get to us all. I know all about that. But whether out on the pitch, in the stands, or on the sidelines, we've all got to do better at all levels. No more surrounding refs, no more abuse, no more intimidation, no more discrimination. Leave the pitch to the players. And those offensive chants, you know the ones. There's never a place for them in the game we love. That beautiful feeling at the start of a new season. Don't ruin it. Let's keep it that way, together. Whether you win, lose or draw, let's make sure that this season is different. We all do it for the love of the game. Let's show our pride and passion in the right way. We all love football, so let's protect the game.
Stephen Schumacher cut a very frustrated figure on Tuesday night, but today is another day, and more importantly, it is another opportunity to show the home fans what Argyle is all about.
Right now, I feel all right. We've obviously spoken about it today. We not proud or pleased of the performance on Tuesday night. Far from it. We didn't feel it was a good reflection of what our team is all about, and therefore we got duly punished with the result. So we spoke about it today as a group. We had the lads in this morning and had a meeting and went through a few things, and it's nothing to do with technical errors or whatever, just pure basics and things that we have, fundamentals that we have to follow as a team, and we just felt we dropped below that standard on Tuesday, and try not to do that again.
When put into context, you know, it was the 7th league game of the season. Stick a couple of Carabao Cup ties in there as well. 9 games into the season, it's probably the only one that's... No, it is the only one that's dipped below standard. So in context, I know it doesn't feel like that on Tuesday night, but in context, that is a good thing. 1 in 9 is not a bad ratio.
No, but we want it to be 0 out of 9. I think it's okay if you lose a game of football. Sometimes you can be the better team, as we've seen this year, and come away with nothing. Other times you can get a result, a decision that goes against you from a referee or a bit of luck. But Tuesday was nothing about that. It was about the opposition showed more desire than what we did. They ran harder than what we did. They had more energy and enthusiasm to do the right things than what we did. So when we drop below that standard that we've set ourselves over the last couple of seasons, then when you drop below it, then you get what you deserve, and that's what we did on Tuesday. But as you said, it's nothing to mull over for too long. We've analysed it, we've spoke about it, and we drew a line under it, and then we're focusing on Norwich now, which is going to be another tough game on Saturday. Yeah,
let's touch on Norwich a little bit more. You would have had a chance to see them on Wednesday night, I assume. They were live on Sky, playing against Leicester. High quality game. Tell us a little bit more about what you made of that, and about them in general as a playing style and so forth.
I thought the game Wednesday night was a really good game. Championship standard was top draw. Leicester are obviously really strong and come out on top in the game, but throughout the whole 90 minutes, Norwich were always a threat, especially second half. They created a few good chances. Maybe they could have been a bit more clinical with 1 or 2 of them that they got, but all in all, they showed the strength and depth that they've got. I know they lost Ashley Barnes as well midway through the second half, which is a blow for them. And I know he'll be gutted because he's a Plymouth lad. He would have enjoyed coming down here and playing if he's not available. But yeah, they didn't let it faze them. Everybody that came on the pitch, for all their subs, brought something extra to their team. So yeah, it's going to be a real tough game.
And it'll be at Home Park, where we're sold out once again. Of all the games that have been at Home Park this season, you know, great performances, great attendances and atmospheres you must be looking for after a busy week on the road with a fantastic support, it has to be said, at Preston and at Bristol City, you know, to be back at home again.
Yeah, definitely. I think the support was phenomenal this week at Preston and Bristol City. Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to reward that support with any points, but we'll do everything that we possibly can to get some points from this game on Saturday. It's Home Park is the best place to play. When it's bouncing, when it's rocking, people get behind us, and I know that the lads will be doing their best to try and respond. Nobody was happy with what happened Tuesday, but we'll try and respond on Saturday, put on a good performance that's enough to take something from the game.
Well, it's a learning experience for everyone, Mark, and you made the point earlier that, you know, Stephen Schumacher, this is his first experience, you know, managing a championship side. And we were speaking off camera about the level of quality in this league and how much can change, you know, depending on 1 or 2 games. Very
quickly, the games come quick and fast, and I was just saying midweek and then Saturday, but you see from Shuey there, always very honest, giving us account of the match, and he's saying like basic errors, senior professionals making basic errors, and he'll tell them that, but they can learn from it, as we said. And don't forget, we've got a quality side as well with quality players. So great opportunity to put it right. As we said, he hasn't managed in this league. He's a great young manager. We won the league for a reason, and I'm sure he's going to get things right, and he'll do that this afternoon against Norwich.
And, you know, in the same breath, we're only 6 games into the season. It might not feel like it, but, you know, there's still so much left to come.
Yeah, it's expectation, Aaron, that's what it is, because we did so well last season. is hopefully to continue. We're in a different league, we're in a quality league, we deserve to be here. Yes, there's going to be bumps in the road, there's going to be ups and downs, but I think over the course of that 46-game campaign, as I said before, we got enough quality to do well in this league.
Yeah, I think we have to hope that Tuesday's game a bit of a blip, a bit of an anomaly, because while we have seen Argyle lose some of their games previously, the way they've played has still been impressive. And like you said, there were some positives from the Bristol City game, but not in comparison to what we've seen previously.
No, I think we've been really unlucky, haven't we, against Birmingham. We were all scratching our heads thinking, how did we lose that with the added time now? And Southampton, we lose late on in the game. So Preston, again, we create lots of opportunities. We're losing by narrow margins. I think midweek was just a learning curve, as we said, more frustration for Stephen Schumacher because things went wrong where they should have been dealt with.
Yeah.
So we've had a heavy defeat, but the other games have been so close, and I think we've been in every game this season.
Yeah. What are the keys to keeping confident? Because it's all very well and good when you are on a winning streak and everything's going your way. That confidence, is naturally going to be flowing through the team. But in instances like this, what are the keys to maintaining that?
Well, one is having a good manager.
Yeah.
We've got a good manager and good players, but it's confidence. The players have got to believe in themselves. As we said, they would analyse this, learn from it, move on very quickly. You can't dwell on a defeat in midweek because you can't take that mentality into a big game on a Saturday in front of your home fans against a very good side in Norwich City. So they'll learn from it, as we said, and that's the great thing about it. You've got opportunities to put it right and put in a really good performance. And the players will be looking forward to this game because they would have hurt midweek. It'd be hurting them individually and they'd have been frustrated.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity to put it right this afternoon.
And what do you expect to see then this afternoon from Schumacher and from the players?
I expect to see a real fast start, lots of energy, and we will create chances, and hopefully we can we're going to have spells in the game where we're going to create opportunities. Let's hope we can take them, but don't forget the opposition will have spells. It's inevitable over the 90-minute plus this afternoon. They will have chances. We've got to be compact, we've got to be confident as well, and organised. We've got to keep organised because these are a good team we're playing this afternoon.
Yeah, and we've seen on our last couple of games, Argyle have been, on the back foot pretty much from the get-go. Do you think that good start is really key for Argyle today?
Yeah, I think, as we said, they've travelled down, they've had a long journey, they've had a day's less rest. If that psychology helps, it doesn't really, we were talking about, seasoned professionals out here this afternoon. I just think a fast start to, David Wagner's already said, they know they're in for a game, so let's not disappoint them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the players looking to make an impression will be Bali Mumba. Bali was on loan from Norwich last season. You can just see him warming up there, but he joined the Greens permanently in the summer. Let's hear from him now and see how much he's looking forward to playing his old side.
Obviously this weekend, Bali, up against your old team, what will it mean to play against Norwich?
Obviously big game for me, just because obviously it's first time playing against them, sort of since obviously coming away from them. But yeah, it will mean a lot to me, looking forward to it. I'm always up for games like this, when you're playing a team that you're sort of familiar with. It's going to be a bit weird, being on the other side now and seeing familiar faces on the other side, but definitely a game that I've been looking forward to and I'm excited for, and hopefully I can put in a good performance and and give Argyle something to smile about.
Yeah, what is it like then? Take us inside your mind when you are preparing to take on a side where most of the people, most of the players, most of the staff, the club. What actually is it like?
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, it's like a weird feeling. But you've got to realise the sport that we're in, you're going to get a lot of these days, quite often, where you're playing against people that you know and people that you're quite familiar with. But yeah, it's a weird experience, it's a weird sort of thing happening. But like I said, my main focus is on us. I'm an Argyle player now, so that's sort of put behind me. So it's more excited to just, prove a point and, and do well for us rather than thinking about all the good times that we've had with them. It's more of, show them what they're sort of missing, sort of thing.
Yeah. You'll obviously know them well, so know their strengths, know what they're good at. You were there obviously for pre-season, or a bit of pre-season as well. So, you know, is that an advantage to have someone like you in our squad that knows how they'll be?
Yeah, I mean,
has the gaffer asked you for any tips?
I think tomorrow. I think they'll ask me obviously when we do our meetings and stuff. I think Neil's mentioned it, you know, where it'll be good for me to sort of speak up and say what I have to say when it comes to the meetings and stuff. But yeah, obviously I've been with them pre-season, so I know obviously how they work and how they like to play. So I guess that will sort of, you know, will help us when it comes to understanding them when we do the meetings and clips and stuff. So yeah, and obviously I'm guessing they know quite a bit about us, you know, having the assistant manager who's there now, who used to be a loan manager, used to come here to the game. So I'm guessing both teams will know a lot of each other. So it'll be a very weird experience.
On us as well. I mean, it's a big one really because of the 2 defeats that we've had in the last couple of matches. Yeah. To kind of put that behind us and get us back on track, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday for us is one thing on our mind, which is the whole team knows it. If she's a reaction, you know, Tuesday wasn't good enough. It was a game which we all know, you know, that's not our level, that's not our standards, and you know, there's no excuse about it. We just have to own up to it, and we're all in it together, and we just have to move on and show a good reaction on Saturday, which, you know, everyone's sort of ready for. And you know, the way training's gone, there's been a good reaction in training, and I'm guessing, you know, come Saturday there'll be another positive reaction.
Now, Mark, something great about playing your former side, as Bali Mumba, I'm sure, will experience this afternoon.
Yeah, as we said, I thought he was outstanding last season. Came on loan, and all the loan players, to be fair to them, contributed superbly well last season. And then to actually sign him permanently was a fantastic bit of business by the football club. Yeah. As I said before, I still got some good contacts in Norwich, and I was really surprised to let him go. Such a young, talented player, and nice to see him in the Argyle colours.
Yeah, how will that dynamic play out on the pitch today then, do you think, with Bali Mumba having that more intimate knowledge of Norwich?
Well, I think he obviously can relay that to the players, but they would have done their homework on us and vice versa. Stephen Schumacher would have prepared superbly well as always. Has he got something to prove? Not really. And players, when they play against their old club, you don't want to go and then try too hard, because that sometimes, believe it or not, has the opposite effect. I think he's just got to relax, enjoy himself, and almost like if he wants to prove a point, maybe score a goal would be nice. Yeah. Or even just, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of respect between both clubs and players, but deep down, Bali Mumba will have something to prove.
And how key is he to what Argyle do going forward? Because, you know, we saw him not starting on Tuesday night, brought on later on in the game. You know, like, I think it's fair to say he makes a difference when he's on the pitch, and the fans respond really well to him as well.
Yeah, he's one of the fans' favourite. He's a big player, and he proved that last season by walking away with the awards. And I think he now is playing the championships, to step up for him as well. He want to play every game, and he would have been frustrated to be left out midweek. So he has got a point to prove, and I think he'll be looking forward to that, because he does influence games, and I think he's a big part of the Argyle setup.
Yeah, and he may need to do a little bit of defensive work with Jonathan Rowe there.
Yeah, it will be. That's a really exciting battle as well. I think, you know, Bali will try to get forward as well to push him back, but we know Rowe's already got 4 goals this season. Yeah, he's very attack-minded, so that's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, do you expect him to do well today?
I really do. I think he will know him, and it'll be a good rivalry, and that's nice to see, because they'll respect each other professionally. But as soon as the whistle goes, we'll see how they respect each other then.
Right, we are getting closer to kick-off here on Argyle TV today. A reminder that if you are not at Home Park, you can still follow the game here on Argyle TV. UK-based supporters can listen to commentary from just £2.50, while all of our international fans, wherever you are in the world, you can buy the pass for £10 and watch the thing in full, all for a tenner. All of the details can be found on the website. You just want to head over to pafc.co.uk.
The away day. A shared passion and commitment. 12,000 miles across the season. Unforgettable memories, past players, the goals. waiting players, supporters, young and old, capturing the moment, living the dream. Green Army belting out the genocide. The stands, the shirts, the drum beats, the surging crowd moving as a giant wave. Crusaders, one and all. The Green Army.
And I'm pleased to say joining us now on Argyle TV is an absolute legend, former Argyle and Norwich defender, Colin Sullivan. Colin, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Lovely to have you. How are you, first of all?
Fine, thanks.
Good. What's it like for you then, today you're going to be watching two of your former sides going up against each other.
Oh,
it's
going to be,
make sure we've got everyone hearing you.
It's very interesting, I think. Obviously with Plymouth's home record, it's been very good since last season. So hopefully we're going to have an entertaining game.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be familiar, of course, with both Argyle and Norwich, and you'll know what kind of excitement they bring to the pitch. So having the two of them together here at Home Park this afternoon, it's really going to be one fans can enjoy.
Yeah, I think so. I think with the style of football that both teams are trying to play, open football, I think both sets of supporters should have a good game to watch.
Yeah, now you played in lots of big games for Argyle in your 7 years. I've got written down here, first of all, League Cup semi-final Man City. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, it was, I think it was 73, 70, it was when the power strike was on. Not that you can remember that. But so a few of the games were played in the afternoons because of the problems with the floodlights.
Oh, wow.
But like I say, we were in the third division and we beat Birmingham City, Burnley and Queen's Park Rangers, getting to the semi-final, and they were all in the first division.
Yeah, wow.
And then we played Manchester City here, I think it was a Tuesday afternoon, and drew 2-2, I think.
Yeah.
But then we lost at Main Road, so obviously they went through to the final.
Yeah.
But it was really a great time that was.
I mean, it must be fantastic having, those big teams on your CV, tick them off, you've played them.
Yeah, it was well, obviously it was big clubs for Plymouth to have here anyway. And I can remember back in the day, the supporters used to be able to sit on the track to watch the game. There were so many people here.
Yeah. And another game that we have to mention, of course, is the Santos game, which is a really big one in the history of Argyle. What are your memories of that?
Well, obviously Pele being here was obviously the big attraction. But I can remember, I think we were 2 or 3-0 up, and then Pele decided to get involved, and I think he scored at least 2 of the goals, I think, to get back to 3-3.
Did you mind losing, the scoreline so much, knowing when you're up against Pele?
I don't think the result really mattered at the time. No, I think it was great entertainment, and it was a great thing for Tony Waiters to get Santos down here to play at Plymouth anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how much then did you enjoy playing for Argyle? Aside from those big games that we mentioned, just Argyle as a whole, what was it like being here?
Well, obviously, it was my local club. I've been coming here since I was 14, 15, and made my debut when I was 16, and so it was obviously great times, although we spent most of the time in the third division. But it's still obviously great experience for me.
Yeah, and then you made the move to Norwich. How did that come about?
Well, it was the end of the season, and I think Tony Waiters was the manager here, and obviously he was looking to recruit some more players, and I ended up going to Norwich for 70,000, which was a record transfer fee at the time, and allowed Tony Waiters to buy 3 players and for them to push for promotion the following season.
Yeah, and
which they did achieve as well.
And with your time at Norwich, League Cup final there in 1975 at Wembley against Aston Villa, so another big game for yourself.
Yeah, it was. Well, obviously it was great. I mean, the semi-final we actually played Manchester United, and
I think letting as well, Colin. There was some of it on the screen there.
Oh right, the final, yeah.
I mean, what was that like?
Oh, it was fantastic. Obviously, getting out on the pitch and everything. I mean, we didn't play very well at all on the day, but we survived until they had a penalty in the last. I think that's me as well, playing the ball through with the right foot. That's a novelty. Yeah. But it was a great experience, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great to see some of those.
That was my first season at Norwich as well at the time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, great to see some of those pictures there.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
What are you up to now then?
I'm retired now.
Lovely.
But I just retired 2 years ago. When I finished playing, I was a landscape gardener.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So I finished 2 years ago.
So I say keeping an eye on the groundsmen here at Home Park.
Well,
They've done a good job.
I don't think they need any information from me to sort the pitch out. A little bit different than when we were playing.
Yeah.
A lot different.
Well, no, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And finally then, and I feel like I can ask you this question because you maybe won't have so much of a bias having a history with both sides. Who do you think's going to win today?
Well, I'm hoping for a score draw.
Okay, yes, but sensible.
But I think Plymouth will win by the odd goal. I'm thinking 2-1.
Okay, I like it. We like it.
Yeah, of course
any
you do.
answer that goes in Argyle's favour.
I'm going to get back to the other side yet.
Yeah, and then when we go over to the Norwich side, I imagine the score might be a bit different. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Colin, for being on Argyle TV. Enjoy the game. Stay with me just for a moment because we're going to go back now into the memory bank to a famous win for Argyle over Norwich in 2007, fondly remembered by many as the Akos Buzaki game.
Goal of the season, his first goal since last April, in fact.
I became a football player in Plymouth. That was my senior career started, really. To play week in, week out, that Plymouth gave me this opportunity, so I was always thankful for have this kind of chance. And I wouldn't be playing in the Premier League if I didn't have the Plymouth spell.
Nallis finds Gallen on his debut today. On for David Norris. It's a fizzing drive from David Norris. A wonderful effort. I can't believe it just missed. Huckabee is interested. Looks to take on Gosling, beats him. Dixon a two-hoo waits in the middle. There's a two-hoo! And it's a fine save from Gary Sawyer. A wonderful save to deny Dixon a two-hoo. Gallagher takes the free kick. Looks for Dublin. Marcel Sipe can't quite believe the foul's gone against him, but he was leaning all over the back of Dublin. Youssef Safri waits over the free kick. Oh, McCormack has missed it. The Plymouth goalkeeper has had a howler, and the Moroccan Youssef Safri has benefited. McCormack seemed to dive over the ball. Buzaki with the corner. It's a decent one. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Akos Buzaki almost brought Plymouth level. And there's Halmosi. And Peter Halmosi, the other Hungarian in the side, can't score on his debut. Again, Norwich can build. There's Huckabee. Darren Huckabee. Oh, he should have taken the chance. What an enigma he is. Brilliant one day, bad the next. In comes the corner. Al Joffrey. There's Hales! And Barry Hales has brought Plymouth level. It was a shot from Al Joffrey, and Hales, as he has done over the years in the Premiership. What a poacher's finish it was. And he demands more from the Argyle fans. Buzaki. Brought down, was he, by Dirty. The referee was on the spot. Decided the foul had been committed. We've already seen one fantastic free kick this afternoon. Will there be another? Akos Buzaki. Oh, there is! The Hungarian has scored his first goal of the season, his first goal since last April, in fact. What a time to pick it out, and it has given Plymouth the lead. Nallis. Knocked over by Dublin, that's a foul. What, me, says Dublin? Yes, you, Dion, says the referee. He's hit one. Surely Buzaki cannot hit another today. Same spot. Will it be the same result? Or did it go in? Did it go in? Everyone looks to the assistant referee. He's given it! And Akos Buzaki has scored a second cracking free kick. It went up over the wall, beat Gallagher, and down clearly over the line.
The second goal, the second free kick, The first one was the keeper didn't expect it. I hit it in back into the over the wall. The second he was waiting for that, and but I was lucky because it went in the right place. That was at the time the best happened to me. I didn't expect as much as love I got from the fans and from everybody here in Plymouth.
And back to today's game then, Norwich manager David Wagner is in his first full season in charge at Carrow Road, and he knows the importance of a strong season. They've made a good start and clearly they want to continue that at home park this afternoon.
Look forward to Plymouth on Saturday. Difficult game, very difficult game, especially at home. They have a good home record. Play some very good football for a promotion team, totally different approach. They have a lot of freedom, a lot of fluidity. They play with happiness, especially offensively, obviously defensively. Then they give some spaces as well, but this is a real challenge, a real test for us after Wednesday night, and we have to make ourselves ready to go again, and we will. And then obviously we are really looking forward to this game because there are 3 points on the table which are as important as the points on Wednesday and count as much as the points on Wednesday, and for these points we will fight like hell on Sunday.
So it sound like that because you look at the results aspect of them, and it's 1 win in 6 and heavy defeat at Bristol, but the underlying, you can see that this is a team, and as they showed in League One, very, very cohesive, clear style of play, as you say there, and maybe it's that newly promoted thing where you go up and it could go 1 or 2 ways. You run on with the momentum and the results follow, and it feels like the wind's at your back. Maybe they're experiencing the opposite in the early part of the season.
So who judged them on the Bristol result makes them the first mistake. To be totally honest, the Bristol game and the Bristol result we didn't look on. We didn't analyze the Bristol game. They made 7 changes, was away from home. Doesn't count for us. So we take this very, very serious, and we've seen and we learned our lesson from Rotherham away. We said, and the guys have shown then in the games after the international break, and we said this, we have to show that we are better than this, what we have done. And this is now a real test. I don't like to compare those teams, Rotherham and Plymouth, because they have a totally different approach. What you can compare is both teams, especially at home, in their stadium, they can create a very, very tricky atmosphere where you have to keep your head down, be very calm in ball possession, and be ready for the fight. And this is where I will prepare my guys for, and then we have to show that we learned our lessons out of the Rotherham game, that we are totally focused and are ready for the fight.
Well, we have just enough time before kick-off to take a look at some of the other games being played around the Championship this afternoon. On the screen for you there, Birmingham and QPR played yesterday. Today, Ipswich host Blackburn. They're absolutely flying at the moment. Big game at Elland Road as Watford travel to Leeds, and Southampton will be hoping they can profit from the poor form of Middlesbrough. And of course, finally, Preston at Rotherham. That pretty much concludes our Argyle TV pre-show this afternoon. Mark, thank you very much for being with me. We'll be back again at half-time for those of you watching online. Just enough time then to remind you that if you haven't already, you can buy a match pass from pafc.co.uk, and the commentary this afternoon will be brought to you by none other than Charlie Price and Ian Stonebridge. Will Argyle be able to bounce back in style at home park today? It's time to find out. Argyle against Norwich is coming up next. Let's be having you.
There's nothing like the start to a new season. The energy, the anticipation, the expectation. You know that buzz in the air,